Okay. Oh, yeah, there's a lot. So I'm gonna do my best to get through as many as we can in the time that we have. And again, a big thank you for posting these and trusting us with your concerns and questions. All right, so first questions. What oils can be used to help get rid of high bad metabolites since I cannot detox well? All right. So what we're looking at here is what essential oils, and we'll also talk about some doTERRA products, can be used to help your body detox. All right. Because let's face it, we ask our bodies to do a lot, and the more and more stress our bodies are under, the harder it is for our bodies to process and to detoxify, get rid of all the waste products and the bad metabolites that are in our bodies, which can lead to a lot of problems, a lot of inflammatory problems. And so it's really good to kind of help maximize our body's detoxification process. So certain oils are absolutely going to help to support the liver, the kidney, and the lymphatic systems. Top essential oils that I think of for that purpose are going to be lemon essential oil. I love lemon essential oil because it's rich in limonene, which is going to be not only protective, but have really good detoxifying effects for the liver and kidneys. In fact, when you look at some animal studies, lemon oil has been found to reduce oxidative stress to those organs after toxin exposure. All right, so how would I apply that? Anyone who's struggling to detox, or maybe anyone who's had an overdose, accidental or intentional, which is going to damage the liver. So think alcohol, think Tylenol. This is something which I would really recommend maximizing the use of. And how easy is lemon essential oil to use? You can put it under your tongue if you really want. I like to put a drop or two in my water, and you can just drink that once a day or multiple times a day. And that's going to really help, okay, to protect the liver and to support detoxification processes. Also, we have rosemary essential oil. This is going to help to neutralize metabolites and also eliminate. All right. So one thing which the liver does, it kind of does two phases of metabolism. One, where it takes the metabolite from the bloodstream, it metabolizes it into a safer metabolite or neutralizes it, and then it kind of sends it for elimination. How do we eliminate things? We excrete it through feces, through urine, sweat, and expiration. All right. Or yeah, as we exhale. And so that's what the liver's doing. And rosemary is a great essential oil to help in that neutralization and the elimination process. Also has liver protective antioxidative properties, which are really good. So that's for the liver, two main essential oils for the liver. When I think of the other areas, so that would be the kidneys and the lymphatics. Okay, so kidneys, they filter the blood, so they're going to pull out all of those metabolites which have been neutralized by the liver, and they're going to start to excrete them. Okay, send them as it filters out of the blood, going to send it down to the bladder so we can then urinate it out. The lymphatics, they're also cleaning the blood all throughout the body. Our lymphatic system parallels our circulatory system, or the arteries and the veins. And what it's doing is it's kind of filtering the blood all throughout the body. Okay, so it kind of acts as another filter and support, and that flows again into the kidneys, where it then can be eliminated. And what's cool about that is it really provides a wonderful way for us to clean our blood. And so as we support our lymphatic system and our kidneys, we're really going to help to promote that detoxification process. So essential oils which are going to help to promote lymphatic drainage and diuresis, which is promoting urination so that we can eliminate things and flush out those bad metabolites. Top essential oil for me would be juniper berry. It is well known for its diuretic and lymphatic decongestion properties. It's been used historically to help the body clear excess fluids, toxins, even uric acid. So people who have high uric acid and can have issues with things like gout, juniper berry would be something which, if you have a problem with gout, that could be something which you could use frequently, not just for flare-ups, but for prevention as well. It's a safe essential oil which you could use every day if you wanted to. Okay. Some things which make it potent, potent and effective is its alpha pinene, which helps to stimulate the lymphatic flow, which is going to help to remove waste and metabolic byproducts. Another big one is going to be cypress. Cypress is fantastic. And then some of your citrus oils like grapefruit, geranium, floral one would also be good. Cypress, grapefruit, and geranium are big ones, which are used to help to support a detoxification process and improve lymphatic circulation. Okay, and then other citrus oils in addition to grapefruit would be like lemon, wild orange, tangerine. Pick your favorite citrus essential oil. It's going to be beneficial. Okay. If you want to kind of like, all right, so those are quite a lot of essential oils we've talked about already. We've talked about lemon, we've talked about juniper berry, we talked about rosemary, grapefruit. What's an easy way I can maximize things? I would look at Zendocrine. What I like about the Zendocrine essential oil and the complex is it's made it easy. All right. When we look at the Zendocrine essential oil, that contains detoxification or detox supportive essential oils like rosemary, cilantro, juniper, tangerine, and geranium, which are going to be really good as we talk about some of those specifically, but combined, they're going to work synergistically to really help our liver, kidneys, lymphatics, to really help with that detoxification process. All right. And then we can add the Zendocrine complex, which is a herbal supplement or herbal supplement, which has milk thistle and some other herbs to really help support liver and kidney function as well. All right. And then the other big things I would say as we're doing that is lifestyle factors are going to be important as well. So what are going to be some healthy lifestyle practices? Drinking plenty of water, okay? Because we're doing that detoxification process, because we're helping our kidneys filter, we want to help that process along by drinking plenty of fluid, okay? So drinking plenty of water throughout the day is going to be key. And we can make it super simple by adding a drop or two of essential oils in our water to help, okay? Another thing is movement, okay? As we move our muscles, our blood flows better, our lymphatics flow better. And so drinking plenty of fluid, movement, even if it's walking, is going to be really good at helping to support that process, okay? So regular exercise is going to be good. Also, the sweating aspect, where we're able to secrete a lot of fluid from our pores, that's going to be beneficial as well. And so whether you're exercising more strenuously or whether you're in a sauna, those can both be really good at helping to eliminate and helping that process. Okay. Next, all right, this is a long one, so I'm going to read it and then we'll summarize it. Okay. So my husband had a cough from lisinopril. Tried other BP meds, but they caused leg swelling. He now manages blood pressure with capsules of essential oil, 2 drops each of Lang Lang, marjoram, celery seed, petitgrain, copaiba, clove, lemon. He's using those 2 to 3 times a day. That helps keep the blood pressure in the 130 to 140 to 80 over 80 range. He also has chronic L5S1 back pain with nerve damage in the left leg. Has a nerve stimulator implant. He developed lymphedema, swelling of the legs. The left is worse, and cellulitis after Unibut treatments, antibiotics, and essential oil. So got the cellulitis after Unibut treatment. Antibiotics and essential oils cleared the infection through though drainage continues. An ultrasound showed compromised leg veins. He's using a compression pump, wraps, compression socks. He's an outlier patient who often reacts poorly to standard treatments, also has high anxiety and is in counseling. He's losing some weight after stopping certain meds, but legs still very swollen. What would be your treatment plan to get the lymphedema and veins healed? How about how long for significant improvement, and what information can we give our doctor to show how essential oils work? All right, boy. So sounds like, just to summarize that, patient with blood pressure issues isn't tolerating traditional blood pressure meds, but he's doing a great job at using essential oils. So I love that approach. is also having lymphedema, so that's swelling in the lower extremities. All right. So why does that happen? Just to kind of like make it general, and then we'll address this question. So veins are different to arteries. Arteries have a muscle wall around them so that they can actually contract. That helps to maintain pressure, helping to get the blood to the organs. All right. After you've gone from arteries to capillaries, and then all the nutrients, oxygen are given to the tissues, it's then collected in the veins. All right. So you've got the venules and the veins. Veins don't have muscles around them. Veins are very flexible, pliable. Their job is to get blood back to the heart, and they rely on the pressure from the arterial system to kind of keep moving things forward. Because they don't have any muscles around them, they're more prone to kind of dilate, and to create some backflow in them. So one of the things that we do to help what the body, which is amazing, has done, it has valves in the veins. So when the heart contracts, blood moves forward, and there's that little pause as it refills. Instead of blood moving back, the veins shut and then pushes it forward, shut again, push it forward with each heartbeat. Okay. Over time, these veins start to get weaker, the valves start to get weaker, and so they're just not as effective, and so backflow is allowed. Okay, and that's typically what can start to lead to edema. Also, the lymphatics don't work as well, and so fluid tends to pool in the lower extremities. The more you're on your feet, the more it's going to happen. Hypertension is going to make it worse. Diabetes is going to make it worse. Obesity is going to make it worse. Okay, metabolic issues are going to make it worse. So how can we help address that? All right. So I love that it looks like this individual's already doing what they can. So medically, some things which we do is we use compression stockings. All right. And that's just a tight sock which goes up to the knee. That's just providing a nice squeeze to the leg. If you kind of squeeze in the leg, it doesn't have as much give to allow fluid to accumulate. All right, it's kind of take and replace those healthy veins which would hold all the fluid in, but as they kind of relax and get stretched out, they leak more, they back up more, it leads to more swelling. So compression stockings are really good. You've also got sequential compressive devices, which I think I read that this person was using. And what's nice is, and we use these in the hospitals a lot when people are kind of leg bound, but they can also be used at home where usually it's like a thing you Velcro around the legs, and it just uses airbags to kind of provide a little pump. Okay. And as it's pumped, it's kind of sequentially pumping from the ankles to the calf and up, helping to kind of push that fluid. Okay. Think of it as a squeegeeing the fluid back up the leg towards the heart. All right. And then the other thing we do medically is a diuretic. We use diuretics like Lasix to kind of help pull off fluid, so there's not as much fluid backing up in the system. All right. So that's medically. How can we do this? How can we support this individual? All right. I love that already you're using a lot of good oils in those essential oils. What I would recommend doing, and we talked about it earlier on, cypress. Cypress is a great one that you can use. It's going to help to tighten and tone the blood vessels, which is going to improve venous return. All right. So it's often recommended for people with varicose veins and edema. So how would I apply it? A couple drops on my hand. I would probably add some fractionated coconut oil so I could really massage it along the legs. I would start at the feet and massage my way up to the knee. All right. And if some people have swelling going clear up the thigh, massage up to where the swelling is. Okay. So I would, if you've got no one who can do it, you can massage yourself. If you've got someone who can do it, what would be really good is to have the individual lay down and elevate their feet a little bit. Okay. The simple fact of elevating your feet, we're now using gravity to help drain the legs. All right. And that would be another big thing which I'd recommend for this individual and anyone with edema. Because when we're standing, when we're on our feet, gravity is pulling fluid down. Okay. Our body has to work harder to keep blood circulating. Walking is going to be good because as we walk and contract the muscles in our legs, those muscles are squeezing the vessels. That's going to act as a pump to kind of get blood back. But the other good thing to do is when we're not on our feet and when we're able, elevate our legs, ideally above the level of the heart. Okay. So people with chronic edema, it's really good if you can. If you just put some books at the foot of the bed, so the whole bed's just kind of elevated a little bit. If you have a special bed where you can lift up the feet, that's perfect too. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just enough, like just a little bit, will aid in fluid return going to the heart, which can be really, really beneficial. Okay. But if you've got someone who can help massage, use Cypress, have the individual lay down. What I will typically do is I'll grab so I'll stand at the feet, grab a leg, put it on my shoulder, and then just start massaging and kind of milking. All right. So I'll probably start with the foot, maybe on my thigh or something like that. Massage it, and kind of like as I'm massaging it, I would also kind of just almost milk it, going around the ankle to kind of start promoting blood flow. Then get the foot on my leg. So now it's definitely elevated.
OHVs
and
are
now
of
I
high
can
wave.
manually just really do a nice milking massage. All right. And whether they're laying on their back with their legs up or laying on their front with their legs up, whatever your preference is. One of the benefits of being face down is I find it a little easier to massage the calf if it's up on my shoulder. But in osteopathic medicine, we often talk about the gut as the fifth hand, because you can also just kind of like put the foot supported in your gut almost, and then you can kind of massage it that way as well. So if you're taking care of a loved one, just play around, see what's convenient and easy for you. But essential oils, which I like to use when massaging, would be Cypress, because it is beneficial at strengthening blood vessels and reducing edema. Okay. Another big one, which I really like, is going to be doTERRA's Aroma Touch. This is a blend of cypress, peppermint, marjoram, basil, grapefruit, and lavender. Okay. And it's really designed to increase circulation, reduce inflammation, soothe muscle discomfort. And so it's just a great, like, if you've, I guess it really doesn't matter who you are. If you've got sore legs or some swelling, I love Aroma Touch for that very purpose. Okay. It's got all the oils which you could recommend in one easy to use blend. Okay. And again, big tip as you massage, start from the foot, go towards the knee. All right. Moving, your goal is to move fluid back to the heart. Okay. Let's just see. How often could you do it? I would do it at least, so it depends. So maybe you've just been hiking a lot, and so your legs are a little sore. Maybe once or twice. Do you eat when you get home in the evening, or when you get back to camp in the evening? Would be a great time to do it. If you're doing a lot of traveling, maybe every night that you're traveling. If you're at home and it's not an issue, if you want to treat yourself, that would be great, but not maybe, probably not necessary. If you've got someone like this individual who's got a chronic problem, I would probably do it 2 to 3 times a day. All right. I would do as much as I could. And I would start off in the morning, massaging it, and I would really try and elevate the leg, milk it as best as I can. Then I would put the compression socks on. Okay. So that once you've kind of milked everything out and got out as much fluid manually as you can, you kind of improve the circulation with the essential oils, get that compression sock on, then let the foot go down. So it's not going to then just reaccumulate. All right. And then if it's really bad, when you at lunchtime, that would be a time to sit down, put my feet up, maybe do another application of Cypress or doTERRA's Aroma Touch. Like, so get the stockings off, massage them again. Some people don't like the stockings because they are pretty tight. So that would be a great opportunity to get your feet up, get the stockings off, let your legs breathe a little bit, get the oils on them. And then when you're ready to get going after lunch, put the socks back on and get back to whatever it is you're doing. And then in the evening, when you're done for the day, get the socks off, oil up, and then get into bed. Okay. And I would do that every day if it's a chronic issue that's bad. Another option you have would be to add helichrysum, because that's going to help reduce inflammation as well. Same thing with frankincense and copaiba. Again, if you're applying them topically over the legs to help support inflammation, that's going to be really good. You can also add lemon and grapefruit in your water, as we talked about. They can act as a gentle diuretic, helping to remove some additional fluid. So that can be good as well. All right, so you kind of got oils that you can apply topically using the stockings. And where can you get the stockings from? You can go to like any medical store and ask them and get them. They do offer them in different compression strengths. So if that's an issue, you can go there. If you just want to try them, you can get them on Amazon. I recommend them for anyone who's going to be up on their feet a lot. Okay, so shift workers, if you're going to be up on your feet for 12 hours, it might be beneficial to start wearing compression stockings now while you're young and healthy to keep those veins healthy. All right, because shift after shift, year after year, that standing and putting extra stress on those veins, it has its effect. As an emergency physician who does shift work, it's something which I started maybe 7 years ago, and I actually really like it. I would recommend it. Okay, it's something which just helps your legs feel better by the end of the day. It really does. And then they're also great to use when you're flying. If you're going to be sitting down in a seat for a long period of time, wearing compression stockings can also be really good when traveling. All right, and you can just get those from Amazon, get them online. And then the other thing for this gentleman would be where anxiety is such an issue. High anxiety can make blood pressure worse, which has its effect on edema. And so, you know, I love that you're doing counseling. In my mind, counseling is one of the best things we can do for stress and anxiety. I'm of the opinion that everyone can benefit from counseling. All right. I used to see it as something for people who need it, but I feel the reality is we don't talk about mental health enough in this country, and in general. And at its core, counseling is just helping people process. All right. And I found that as I've kind of got older, like I've realized that while I thought I was okay, I definitely needed some help in my thinking, in managing different things, and just either whether it's self-help books to kind of give you advice, whether it's talking with someone face to face in a counseling setting, getting tools to help you address issues in your life, address problems that come up in life, like it's really healthy. Okay, and it leads to long-term overall health, wellness, and happiness. Okay, so counseling is absolutely fantastic. Good job. And then essential oils are another great way to help manage stress and anxiety. So essential oils, and in fact, I would love to know what, for those of you who are online right now, what are some of your oils? Sorry, what are some oils that you love to use for stress? Okay, so when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling stressed or anxious, what is the essential oil that you like to grab to help with? Okay, I know for me, my two main ones are going to be lavender and balance. I love using balance because it's a very grounding essential oil with all the woods that it has. But I also love lavender because, like that, I don't know of a better single essential oil to help with anxiety. Okay, this is a great essential oil that you can use. Joe says adaptive and balance. Yeah, like I love it. I feel that anyone who has essential oils to help with that stress and anxiety, it's just a great tool to have because we all have stress, right? I don't care who you are, what your circumstances is, there's going to be an element of stress in your life, and recognizing that and being proactive about how we approach it makes all the difference. Okay, so again, for this individual, I love using. I'd highly recommend lavender, which you can apply topically. I like to apply it over pulse points. So the neck's a great place, the heart, the wrists. I also like to put it in my hands, cup and inhale. All right. And one thing which I really like to do is box breathing. Box breathing alone has been shown to help to reduce anxiety. When we combine that with essential oils, which again have shown to help to reduce anxiety, we're kind of doing a 1-2 punch, and it's really going to have a good impact. So how to do that? Get your lavender or whichever essential oil it is. Looks like other people are liking adaptive and frankincense, adaptive balance and lavender. Also the adaptive supplement. That's great advice. Thank you. Frank, copaiba, and wild orange are a great blend. I like that. Nice one. Thanks for sharing that, Jasmine. But get whichever oil it is you're using in the hand, rub it together, and then just bring it close to your face. If you've never used essential oils, one thing I like about doing that is if you're like, oh, that's strong, you can just back it up. You don't, you're in control. All right. But you can bring it up to the face where you can then just inhale. And box breathing, it's called that because we inhale for 3 to 5 seconds. We then hold the breath for 3 to 5 seconds, exhale for 3 to 5, and then we hold on the exhalation for another 3 to 5 seconds. And then we just repeat that. So it's kind of like a box. And what that does is it helps to regulate our breathing, helps to kind of calm our bodies down, calm our mind down. And that can be really, really impactful in the moment. Okay. And then just as you go throughout the day, using essential oils to kind of be proactive is a great way to do it. Okay. I love using copaiba because it's going to act on the endocannabinoid system, which is going to have really good anxiolytic or anxiety reducing effects. Bergamot oil is also really good to kind of help relax. Lavender and bergamot have both been shown to not only uplift the mood, but help to reduce cortisol levels. Petitgrain. Now, those of you who are like, Petty what? It's a great essential oil. It's not one which we commonly talk about, but its chemistry is very similar to lavender, all right? But the aromatic profile is very different. Some people call it the man's lavender. Having lived in France for 2 years, like I love lavender. It just brings back so many memories. So I don't mind that floral aroma of lavender, but some people prefer petitgrain. All right. So again, I would experiment. I would try them out and see which ones he likes the aroma of and helps him to kind of feel more calm. All right. All right, I think what else would be good? Okay. I think let's move on to another question. Omega-3s or vitamin E while on blood thinners. I was discussing doTERRA's lifelong vitality supplements, which include omega-3 and vitamin E with someone. They said the VA hospital told them not to take any omegas or anything with vitamin E because the person is on blood thinners and those supplements could cause a brain bleed. I've never heard this before and wasn't sure how to answer. Can you clarify if omega-3 fish oils or vitamin E really pose a danger of brain bleed when on blood thinners? Okay, so short answer, do they pose a danger of bleeding when on blood thinners? No, the reality is no. Okay, they are completely safe. In fact, if I had someone who was on a blood thinner because they've had clotting issues, I would highly recommend to use omega-3s. And the reason why, okay, now there's a fundamental difference between supplements, essential oils, herbal remedies, and pharmaceuticals. All right. Typically, what happens in science, scientists identify that there's a plant which people are using and have used historically. And so they look at it to see why they're using it. Okay. And what elements of that plant are causing a benefit which people are taking it from. Okay. Or, which is why people are taking it. Okay. As they break it down and they look at the chemistry of the plant, they're then given, different chemicals which they can then test independently. All right. And as they test them independently, they might be able to find, oh, like when we use this chemistry, it has this effect in the body. Let's make a drug out of that. One of the great examples would be aspirin. Okay, it's got salicylic acid in. Where can we get that in nature? Like wintergreen. Wintergreen is a great place to think. Birch is a great place to get that. All right. So what's the difference? Why don't we just use wintergreen instead of aspirin? Okay. When we isolate the chemistry of a plant and turn it into a drug, we are taking one chemistry out of multiple dozens, sometimes hundreds of different chemical components from the plant. Okay. And what that does is it interacts with a pathway within the body. Okay. So why do we take aspirin? It has a couple of beneficial effects. Top ones, we use it for pain and also blood thinning. Okay. So if someone's ever had a heart attack or comes to the emergency department with chest pain, one of the reasons we give everyone aspirin is because it acts as an antiplatelet. It stops that clot, which is causing a heart attack, from getting any bigger. All right. So that antiplatelet property is really good. The more aspirin I take, the more salicylic acid that's in my body, the more antiplatelet effect I have. Okay. It's a very linear process. Okay. Another one which a lot of people could probably relate to would be insulin. Okay. If I have high blood sugar, I'm going to take insulin. The more insulin I take, the more my blood sugar goes down. Okay. Now, that's great because we're having a desired effect, but there is a problem as well. Because it is linear, the more I take, the more it's shifting to this, it shifting to one side. Meaning, if I take too much insulin, my glucose is going to bottom out and going to cause problems with hypoglycemia. All right. It's going to get into that therapeutic range, but if I keep taking insulin, it's going to go even lower. Same thing with things like salicylic acid. If I take it, I'm going to get that antiplatelet property, which is good. Okay. But if I keep taking it, whether day after day, at a high dose or just lots all in one, it's going to lead to an a significant effect where instead of just having it in this helping to stop like this aggressive antiplatelet from the clot, it's going to stop all platelet clotting, and it's going to prevent my body from forming clots, increasing my risk for bleeding. Okay, does that make sense? So that's what we see with pharmaceuticals. All right. Now, I'm a doctor, they have their place. But when we look at natural options for medicine, okay, for plant-based medicine, because we're taking in the whole plant, the whole essential oil, instead of one chemical constituent, we're getting multiple chemical constituents. And what that allows our bodies to do is to function more normally. What do I mean? When we look at clotting in our body has multiple systems to form a clot and break down the clot. And the reality is, at any given point throughout our bodies probably forming clots and breaking down clots because we have microvascular damage just about anywhere in our bodies. Okay, we don't have to worry about it because our body is working in this therapeutic range where it's able to form clots as needed, but it's also not creating pathology because it's not rampant. Okay, it's ideal. Okay, it's one of the wonders that I love about the body, how it's able to work in this therapeutic range where we have enough blood thinning properties, but not too much. We're still able to make the appropriate clots when needed. They're not getting out of control. Okay, so as we use whole chemistry from nature, from plants, from essential oils, it's helping to support that process. And so as we take omega-3s, in this instance, what we're seeing is instead of antiplatelet properties, we're seeing more regulation or modulation. Okay, you're going to hear that word more and more, I think, as more and more studies are showing how instead of acting on one single pathway, it's acting on multiple, helping the body to get into that healthy range. Okay, so can it help people to be like have thinner blood and not clot as much? Yes, but for people who have bleeding issues, it's also going to help them to clot more because it's helping them get into that therapeutic range. It's helping to modulate. Okay. Another thing which I think is really important to know, looking at some research, there was a meta-analysis. All right. So a meta-analysis is where researchers look to see what research is out there, and they collect multiple different research articles. And the benefit of that is instead of just looking at one, we're able to look at multiple, which increases the significance of the findings. All right, because if I have a study of just, a small study, I might find something, but it's harder to then say this one study on a small population can then be applied to different, like to a bigger population. Like it's hard to make that jump. So if I have multiple studies all supporting the same thing, then I can make a bolder claim. All right. So this meta-analysis in 2024, it looked at, they found over 11 studies. There was over 120,000 participants in total. All right. And when they did the research, they found no significant difference between people who are on blood thinners than people who are on blood thinners and omegas when it comes to stroke-like symptoms. Okay. So why is your VA doctor having an issues with omegas? When we look at that meta-analysis, there is a statistical statement in there which said that the absolute risk in the omega group did go up. All right. So what does that mean? Okay. So let's talk about what absolute risk is. When we look at just the omega group, okay, meaning from the study, and it was about a 50-50 spread. So we're looking at over 60,000 people in the therapeutic branch of the study. Out of those people, it was 0.6, I think it was. So less than 1% of people had a hemorrhagic stroke during the study. Okay. So because out of that group, 0.06, less than 1% had a stroke, there is an absolute risk of having a stroke when you're on blood thinners and on omega-3. Does that make sense? Okay. So how do we deal with that? The reason in research we have a placebo leg, okay, which is where they, in this case, it was over 60,000 people who were just on anticoagulant medicine. They still had an absolute risk, okay, of strokes because that population also had strokes. And when we compared the two groups together, there was not a statistical difference between the two, okay? So while both groups did have strokes, so you can say that people who are on anticoagulants and people on anticoagulants and omega-3 had a stroke, because the difference isn't significant in the numbers, we can say that the people who are on omegas did not have an increased risk compared to the placebo group. Okay, does that make sense? So that's why I think when you're reading studies, it's important to understand the context of the study and what the study's actually saying. Okay, because as you look at this meta-analysis from 2004, they found that there is not an increased bleeding risk, okay, when it comes to using omega-3s in people who are already taking blood thinners. All right. That's kind of like a long-winded explanation. I hope that made sense. And I would say as a physician, because we're all about risk management, if you hear something like that, you're going to act in an overabundance of caution and say, I don't have time to go through the details of the study, but what I heard was this statistic. So yeah, you probably should just play it safe. But when you look at what the article is actually saying, that it is safe, I would say do it. And the other reason why I would say take omega-3s is because studies show that it has an overall mortality risk reduction when taking omega-3s. All right. They are incredibly safe. Now, if you were to be taking incredibly high doses, so we're talking like more than 3 to 4 grams of omega-3s a day, that's when I would be more concerned about this potential risk bleed. or intentional risk of bleeding. For those of you who want to know doTERRA's omegas, you're looking at 900 milligrams, which is a good amount. That's kind of like the range where we're seeing a lot of the benefits when it comes to health-related benefits, mood-related benefits, in taking omega-3s in that safe range where you really don't have to worry about it. So unless you're taking like 3 times the recommended dose, which I don't recommend anyone to do, you are absolutely fine. Also, for the general population who aren't taking anticoagulation medications, like not even a concern. Okay. All right, let's go on. Essential oils with berberine. I have a diabetic and was interested in taking berberine. Is there a doTERRA essential oil that contains berberine type compound, or a doTERRA product that provides similar benefits? So there is not an essential oil which contains berberine. Berberine is not an aromatic volatile compound, or an essential oil. So there's not an oil that has it, but there is a supplement that has berberine. And I'm curious to know if anyone knows what that is. And here's a clue. There's two doTERRA products which have berberine in. All right. Okay, perfect. Brenda knows. MetaPower Assist. That's the biggest one, and that's the one which I would highly recommend. The other one is actually Xendocrine. Okay, the Xendocrine complex has it has a smaller amount of berberine in, but it does have some in. If you're looking at taking a berberine supplement, I would definitely look at MetaPower Assist. Okay, so let's just talk about MetaPower Assist and berberine and why they're good. Okay, so berberine, it's an alkaloid compound. It's not an essential oil that's found in plants. It's become popular because it helps to improve insulin sensitivity. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that as the body's releasing insulin, your cells can react to the insulin more. Okay, so it's gonna make it so that your body doesn't have to secrete as much insulin because your body's using it more effectively. It's going to help move glucose from the blood into the muscles or into storage. Okay, so that's kind of like what we use insulin for, to get glucose out of the blood, either into the muscles where it can be used for energy, for movement, or into storage that we can use later as needed. Okay. Berberine also has been shown to help to improve cholesterol levels and triglyceride levels. And so it's something which I do like, and there's a lot of people who are starting to recommend it. So why MetaPower Assist? All right, number one, because it does have berberine, so you're going to get that benefit, but it's more than that. Okay, and that's one thing which I really like about doTERRA. Instead of just being like berberine's good, let's have a berberine supplement. They say berberine's good. What is it doing? It's helping with glucose metabolism. What else can we do to help with glucose metabolism? Okay, so MetaPower Assist also has a few other things. It has mulberry leaf extract, so berberine, mulberry leaf extract, cinnamon bark, and the reason it has those, I think it has a few more, but those are the 3 main ones we'll talk about right now. The reason it has that is because they all work together to help to improve glucose metabolism. So mulberry leaf extract is really good because it acts to reduce the absorption of glucose. All right, so as food's getting broken down in the intestines, it then has to go from the intestines through the lining into the bloodstream. And mulberry leaf extract helps to reduce like how quickly that's happening. All right, so by doing that, it slows down the spike of glucose, making it easier to process, and also kind of like eliminates the overall amount of glucose it's getting in. All right, so that's one of the reasons why we say take doTERRA Assist before your meal. Okay, because if you've already taken it and it's already starting to bind with the receptors that help to shuttle glucose from the intestines into the bloodstream, then you eat your meal, like it's going to slow it down more than if you eat it at the same time or after. Now, are you still going to get benefit if you forgot to take MetaPower Assist before your meal, and so you take it with or after? Yes, you're still going to get some benefit, but for maximum benefit, we take it after. Okay. And so mulberry extract is going to help to reduce glucose absorption. Berberine and cinnamon, they work to improve insulin function and glucose uptake by the cells. So that's going to help to reduce the blood sugar spikes and lower glucose or blood sugar or glucose levels in the blood. Okay. So that's why I like it. All right. And then how would I use it? Okay. So if you don't have any diabetic issues, okay, but you just want to kind of like really support your body, I would just take it before one of your biggest meal of the day. All right. So if you're going to have a big meal at lunch, I would take it before lunch. If it's in the evening, I would take it in the evening. If you're a pre-diabetic, I would probably do it every single day. If you are a diabetic and you're struggling with your sugars, you could take one with 2 meals a day or every meal. Okay. If you're in that category where you're a diabetic trying to reduce your sugars, what's nice is that you're probably used to checking your sugars anyway. And so it's a great way to see, as I take one a day, how does that affect? As I take 2 a day, how does that affect? As I take, if I was taking it with every meal, how does that affect? Okay. So you're going to get good feedback as you check your sugars. Okay. Oh boy, running out of time, so let's move on. All right. Blantitis, xerotica obliterans. Okay. My friend has blantitis, xerotica obliterans. So what is that? That's an issue that really affects the skin around the genital areas. Okay. He's been managing it with regular irritation for years. In the last 3 years, he's gotten infections treated with antibiotics and rest. Are there any essential oils that may help this condition? Okay, yes, there absolutely are. So blantitis, xerotica obliterans, also it's the male equivalent to lichen sclerosus for females. Okay, so it's an inflammatory skin condition. Usually, it's going to be autoimmune that causes the skin around the genitals to be thickened. It can be tight. Can kind of become white. It can be really uncomfortable. It can lead to scarring or infections. Okay. Typical medical treatment we're going to do is going to be high potency steroids. And usually it's going to be topical to reduce inflammation and halt the progression. All right. Sometimes if men haven't been circumcised, they might do a circumcision if the foreskin's badly affected. And the reason it's important to bring that up is because it can be a pretty serious condition. So it does need conventional management to prevent complications. But essential oils also have a place in this. Okay. You guys know I'm a physician. I believe in the ability that medicine has to help the body. I don't believe it has to be one or the other, though. We can use them together. And the reality is when we use plant-based medicine as well as traditional medicine, we usually get better results. Okay. I am a big fan of plant-based medicine as well, because I don't have to wait to get in to see a doctor. All right. So many times I see people in the emergency department and I'm like, just curious, why didn't you go see your primary care for this? Because it doesn't seem like it's an emergency. And the response often is, because I couldn't see him. Like it was going to take another 2 weeks and I didn't want to wait. And it's like, yeah, you know what? If you had to wait 2 weeks, then that totally makes sense why you came to see me. And, thank you for the opportunity to serve you. All right. So sometimes, because it can take a long time, I loved it with plant-based medicine. You don't have to wait. Okay. If something were to happen to me right now, I have multiple options that I can just grab and use. And often by intervening early, that's all you have to do. Okay. So what can we do for this? And when we bringing it back to this inflammatory skin condition. All right. So remember, because it is in a general area, it's going to be sensitive. Okay. So we want soothing essential oils, which are going to be powerful but effective. So the 2 main essential oils which I would recommend here would be lavender and frankincense. Okay. So why lavender and frankincense? So lavender, it's known for its skin healing abilities. It's very anti-inflammatory. It's going to help with the itching and irritation. It's also going to help to stimulate collagen production and tissue regeneration. So that's going to help prevent it from getting worse, hopefully even help it to kind of like improve. All right. The other thing I like about lavender is it also has lots of antibacterial properties, helping to reduce the infections that this individual's been getting, that people are prone to get. All right. Another great essential oil, which we said was frankincense. Why frankincense? Again, it has potent anti-inflammatory effects, which are going to really help to reduce that inflammatory issue. It's also going to help in wound healing. Okay. And so if you've got scars, chronic scarring, frankincense is a great thing to apply topically with a little bit of massage to help heal the area and to help with tissue remodeling. Okay, so together, the lavender and frankincense are going to be really helpful. Because it is a sensitive area, you want to use a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil or jojoba oil, which are both going to be very soothing and hydrating for the area. So how would I apply it? Okay. If you just want to try it to begin with, I would just do a drop of lavender, a drop of frankincense, and then maybe like a tablespoon of your carrot oil, rub it together and apply it to the area, to the genital areas. Okay. I would start off with that because that's a very mild dilution. Okay. And see how that goes. Another thing you could do is if you've got a spray, so you can either do a roller bottle or a spray bottle. I would probably do a spray because then I can just spray it on the area. Or if you want to do a roll it on the hand and then apply it topically, you can. The way I like to fill my rollable bottles or spray bottles is fill them halfway with fractionated coconut oil or whatever carrot oil you're using, and then add like maybe 5 drops of the essential oil. So 5 drops of lavender, 5 drops of frankincense, and then use that. All right. If you're using that and you're like, yep, no problems, you can either add an extra 5 drops to kind of make it a little stronger. Okay. And give that a go. And if you're like, yep, that's perfect, then that's your ratio. Okay. If you use it and you're like, ugh, like that's a little uncomfortable, I don't think I'd like that to be a little more mild, just fill it up all the way with the carrot oil. Now you've diluted it, like you've doubled the dilution. Okay, so by doing that, it's going to be even gentle and softer. Okay, and then you can just experiment that way. All right. And I love that with the essential oils, you have that ability to change the concentration, to change the potency when you're dealing with areas that can be sensitive. Okay, I would absolutely say, okay, so lavender and frankincense would be good oils. If you're having a flare up and it's getting infected, it could be good to add tea tree essential oil. Now, tea tree essential oil is good. It has high antimicrobial properties, but it can be a little more spicy, I guess could be how I would say it, more sensitive, okay, to the area. So if you're going to add tea tree, I would just, again, add a drop because you can always add more, okay? Oils, which I would absolutely stay away from, would be the more spicy essential oils. So, even though clove has antimicrobial properties and anti-inflammatory properties, I would stay away from that. Same thing with oregano, same thing with cinnamon, okay? All right, last question, guys. All right, gut lining restoration. The integrity of the gut lining is crucial. I'm trying to think how we can. Yeah, are there any doTERRA products to help restore the gut lining? Okay, and yes, there absolutely is. Okay, we want a good, healthy gut lining because what that's going to facilitate is it's going to do multiple things. Okay, it's going to maximize our nutrition. All right, doesn't matter what we're putting into our mouth. Doesn't matter how healthy it is. If our gut's messed up, we're going to have a hard time processing, digesting, and absorbing that food. Okay. So yeah, like we definitely want to take care of it. The other thing, if our gut's unhealthy, it's going to have systemic problems, a lot of immune problems, that we often see in skin reactions are a cause of a very unhealthy gut. Okay, so let's keep this simple. What are some big things we can do to help to improve our gut health? Okay, PB Restore and PB Assist. Okay, these are fantastic products because they're going to provide good probiotics, and in both cases, prebiotics and probiotics. In case of PB Restore, postbiotics and oh, what's the fourth one? It's escaping me now. It has that ability to actually to ingest and protect against harmful viruses in the gut. Okay. Phagocytes. Yeah, it's got good phagocytes as well. Okay. So you've got a great way to kind of really support healthy gut by giving it the good bacteria. Good bacteria are needed in the gut because it's going to do a few things. Number one, it's going to help break down foods better. Okay. A lot of foods we eat, our bodies can't break them down. And so we need synergistic bacteria, which can help break down those foods more, giving us the ability to kind of move things along our digestive tract better, reducing inflammation, but also so that we can have those post-bacterial metabolites, which can be really beneficial for our bodies as well. Okay. Another thing good bacteria is going to do is it's going to take up the space, preventing bad bacteria from overgrowing. Okay, keeping them in check. All right. And so I'm a big fan of PB Assist and PB Restore. Okay, so that's going to be a big one. Another thing that doTERRA does when it comes to digestive health is Terrazyme. All right, so Terrazyme, it's a blend of digestive enzymes which are going to help you break down proteins, carbs, and fats. That's important because if we're helping our body to break down the proteins, carbs, and the fats, it doesn't have to expend as much energy creating its own enzymes and doing that work. All right. It just makes it easier for the intestines. Okay. And I don't know about you, but there's sometimes in my life where just a little bit of help would have made all the difference. Okay. So as we give our gut a little bit of help in breaking down our foods, it's able to function better. So we're going to have healthier guts. We're going to have less bloating. We're going to have improved gut lining, improved mechanical transition throughout the intestines, by taking a digestive enzyme blend. Okay, it's going to definitely lead to a calmer gut, which can then allow the gut to heal and repair. All right. Other things which are going to be good are taking Lifelong Vitality or the VMG Plus. All right, because it's got some of the important nutrients like zinc, selenium, vitamin A and D, all of which are really important when it comes to mucosal healing, okay, which is going to help the intestines to better heal. So it's going to prevent inflammatory issues like IBS. It's going to help to prevent and heal against like Crohn's, celiacs, and those type of digestive issues. It's just going to improve the lining of our gut so that our bodies can be healthier. All right. GX Assist and DDR Prime are also two other ones which I like. GX Assist, I like that because it's kind of like a gut cleanse. All right. It's got oregano, tea tree, lemon, lemongrass, peppermint, thyme, and then caprylic acid. So what is that going to do? That's going to go through the intestines and it's going to help to eliminate the harmful bacteria, viruses, parasites, and like yeast and fungi. All right, it's going to help to clean out the intestines. So I like to use these periodically in a cleanse, definitely when taking antibiotics, because it's going to really help to clear out. All right. The other thing which I like is the DDR Prime, because that's going to help the gut at a cellular level. All right. And it helping at a cellular level to heal, to function properly. It's also got those essential oils like clove, which has eugenol in, thyme, which has thymol in, and they're going to help to maintain a healthy microbial balance in the gut as well, which is going to reduce oxidative stress, which is going to help to prevent inflammation in the gut as well. So there's a lot that we can do for doTERRA, using doTERRA to help the gut. And then you've also got things like peppermint enteric-coated capsule, which is really good at helping to reduce helping to reduce inflammation within the colon itself. Okay, and the reason it's enteric is so that the peppermint can get all the way down to the colon to really have a good impact. All right. Wow, guys, that's a lot of information. I hope it was good. I hope you guys learned something and were able to take home some things. There's more questions which we're going to save for next time we do Doc Talk, which will be August 22nd. Okay. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for your questions, and I look forward to answering more next time. You guys have a great day and take care. Bye.